Andrew Cuomo coordinating with Donald Trump. Even as his president sends mass agents to rip our neighbors off the streets and gets the social services so many New Yorkers rely on, it's disqualifying and a betrayal of our city. So I've talked about this before, and this is I think the reasoning for as to why Andrew Cuomo is collaborating with the Trump administration. There is currently a DOJ probe that's going on with Andrew Cuomo because of the lot of actions that he had during his stewardship as governor of New York during COVID 19. We all know about the fucking nursing home deaths, and there was a DOJ probe looking into that stuff. We all know how Trump operates, right? Like, if he can use any potential opportunity to blackmail a particular sort of politician or person in power or looking for power to get them to capitulate and do things that he wants them to do, no fucking problem whatsoever. Hanging over like, hey, Cuomo, listen, buddy, I understand that you've been doing some rather interesting stuff with the elderly population within New York. I can make this never appear if you decide to do everything that I say, because that's the exact same thing that the Trump administration is doing with Eric Adams. Eric Adams has a current fucking probe looking into him for his corruption and dealings with the Turkish government, as we all have done before. Eric Adams is Turkey's strongest fucking soldier. The strongest soldier of fucking Turkey. And the DOJ has been using that, Trump specifically has been using that as a way to be able to have, well, Eric Adams essentially be a stooge for him, to be quite honest. Because, again, New York City is a sanctuary city. You are not allowed to have federal agents go in there and just randomly just black bag people and just kidnap them and fucking deport them. But guess what? The reason why they've been able to get away with that in New York specifically is because A, the LAPD is wholeheartedly complicit with that fucking with ICE in this particular instance, and same with Eric Adams is deciding to just not enforce that fucking part of the law. So a lot of like the Gestapo agents are allowed to just gallivant about and run around and just randomly fucking blackbag people, all because again Eric Adams wants to do everything possible in order to get that fucking pardon to not, well, have the DOJ looking into his fucking corruption. But what do we got here from our boy Zoran Mamdani?
Remiss if I did not directly address some of the news that we saw come out just a few hours ago, which is that the president of this country, Donald Trump, has been coordinating with Andrew Cuomo in direct conversation with the former governor.
And as Zoran himself has constantly said, and he has brought this up consistently, a lot of Trump donors and fucking billionaires have been donating to fucking Cuomo's PAC. And with the other stuff that I mentioned, Andrew Cuomo does have a DOJ probe currently on him. Trump, again, this is not beneath him. He'll fucking use this as a way to gain control of, like, local fucking politicians and politics. He'll use that DOJ probe against fucking Andrew Cuomo. Offer him, like, something like, hey, Andrew, I'll give you a pardon. I'll give you a pardon, buddy. And also, like, the Cuomos and the Trumps, well, they're well-known associates. So, again, very, very easy to have a bunch of fucking blackmail material on the potential next mayor for New York City. I don't think he's going to be the next mayor of New York City, to be honest, but, you know, whatever. Wasn't Trump good friends with his dad, Mario? I think so? There's connections between them. That's not, like, ridiculous to say. But, again, this isn't beneath Trump. He's done the exact same shit before. And he'll fucking do it again. Yes, I do believe... Yeah, he was also governor of New York as well. That is true, Boy Meets Mini.
It is Trump billionaires who have been opposing our campaign's vision for a city that New Yorkers can afford. It is done.
Also, I have to say credit to Zoran Mamdani, because a lot of Democrats would not immediately jump on this and just start talking about it and being like, hey, New Yorkers, I need you guys to listen. This is really, really important. I need you guys to fucking listen to this, okay? I need you guys to know that Trump is trying to solicit fucking Cuomo in order to try to help defeat me, in order to get back in as mayor, and basically have a new fucking stooge in as the mayor of fucking New York. That's the point of him fucking doing this, right? Like, Trump just wants fucking stooges in power, so then he's just allowed to, like, I don't know, have, like, ice Gestapo freaks, like, gallivant about. Because in reality, he's threatened by a person like Zoran Mamdani, who he knows is more than likely going to stand up and fight against him. We all remember Zoran Mamdani was also the same dude who quite literally yelled at Tom Homan when Tom Homan was at New York with a bunch of his, like, little ice freaks going around and fucking detaining people. Like, he's not going to back down. He's not going to get bribed by Trump. So Trump's going to do literally everything possible to try to, like, well, defeat him during the general fucking election. That's not ridiculous to say.
Donald Trump himself, who has been directly conspiring with candidates who have decided to give up the people that they are supposed to protect in lieu of securing power through the assistance of that same administration.
I wouldn't be surprised as well for H. Macara.
This should be a race about addressing the questions of who will make the city affordable, who will ensure that each and every New Yorker is safe, who will bring our city forward, not an audition for the best jester for Donald Trump and his billionaire supporters.
True.
Whatever Donald Trump seeks to do to influence the outcome of this election, I have more faith in New Yorkers themselves, who have shown, whether it be in the previous presidential election or whether it be through this primary race, that they do not want to support our current president's vision of a New York City that is ripping immigrants from their homes.
True.
That is detaining New Yorkers on the basis of political expression.
True.
That in fact what they want is someone who can stand up to an authoritarian administration and to the billionaires that gave us that administration.
He's so fucking good, dude. God, he's so fucking based. And I think, like, in terms of polling, right, like, New York City mayoral polling, like, he's just, like, out and ahead so far the completely just front runner, right? So, polling. Lee's general election polling. I just want to take a look at the latest polls. This is the Democratic primary poll. I want the general polls. Mamdani polls higher than all New York City mayoral candidates combined in new poll. God damn. New poll found Mamdani has a significant lead in the current field of candidates, attaining 50% of the vote regardless of the opponent. Regardless of his opponent, he just has the fucking lead. Damn, that's crazy. Listen, this is like the same meme we've been constantly talking about, right? Like, listen, just all you gotta do as a progressive, as a socialist, or whatever, you just gotta get through the fucking primary. Once you get to the general, you're good. Probably. You're probably gonna be good. You just gotta get through the Democratic primary. And Zoran, guess what? He got through the Democratic primary. And as a result, he's got a significant fucking lead, because a lot of the people who just vote blue no matter who are going to vote blue, well, no matter who. Except for, like, the Democratic establishment that are trying to do everything possible to snub Mamdani. Listen, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Hey, Democrats, whatever happened to vote blue no matter who? I thought we cared about that fucking principle. He's blue, so you gotta fucking vote for him. Listen, we should be consistent with our principles here, Democratic Party. I wonder why we're not being consistent, specifically only with Zoran Mamdani. Very, very cool. Latest New York mayoral poll. The poll was conducted from July 16th to July 24th and surveyed 1,453 New York residents, 2.9% margin for error, and a 3.9% margin of error for likely 2025 mayoral election voters. By the numbers, the combined level of support for former Governor Andrew Cuomo, Mayor Eric Adams, conservative activist and talk show host Curtis Sliwa, and former prosecutor Jim Walden, and undecided likely voters totaled 49%. Woo, squeezing by with the fucking 51%. And that is combined fucking levels of support. And here's the thing. I don't think, like, any of these people are going to drop out. I think Andrew Cuomo said he might drop out if he sees no path forward during September, or he said he was going to, like, examine his options. But I think as of right now, not Eric Adams, but Andrew Cuomo, I think, is polling second. Eric Adams is definitely not going to fucking concede either, because he's got those corruption charges swirling around him, right? And if he's not in a position as being fucking mayor, right? So he's never going to leave the race. If he's not in the race in order to try to win and become fucking mayor, he's not going to be able to have the potential protection of that pardon, and more than likely, that corruption probe that's swirling around Eric Adams' head, that stuff's going to proceed, more than likely. Curtis Sliwa, he just has, like, I don't know, he has, like, a particular fixation with just being, I think, the next mayor of New York. I don't think he's going to drop out. That dude is just incredibly fucking ideological, and that's going to continue to fucking split the vote. I don't know anything about Jim Walden, but, whatever. Bro's probably going to drop out or some stuff. And his support never dips below 50%. Damn, that's crazy. So, I don't know, like, I don't want to, like, make a call here and say that it's all over. Anything could fucking happen. But, like, something, like, I think it's still looking pretty, well, pretty down pat here for fucking Zoran Mamdani. Oh, yeah, Curtis Sliwa wasn't he famous, or rather, not famous, rather infamous, because he was caught on camera during some interview around Times Square, where he and a bunch of his goons just randomly spotted a brown person, like, just, like, tackle him and start, like, doing, like, a citizen's arrest on that fucking dude for some reason, because he heard them, like, speak Spanish for some fucking reason. It was really fucking weird, and the newscast, like, not the newscast, but the reporter was just like, oh, what the heck? Oh, this is some pretty wacky stuff right here. I think so, we'll look it up. I recall that rather vividly. He had his, like, stupid little red beret on and everything. His, like, little LARP troop decided to, like, randomly just do a citizen's arrest on someone. So here we go. We got Trump weighs in on getting involved in the New York City mayor's race. Now, I know that he's, like, denying it. Like, I think there was, like, a thing where he was denying it. Right, oh, where is it? Trump on whether he supports Cuomo in New York City mayor race. Right? Wasn't there a clip of this? Candidates report, blah, blah, blah. Trump calls old foe Cuomo as he considers intervening. Report. Well, that's the report. Oh, 1000%, Alex. They are fucking completely fucking delusional. There's like a clip of him saying, like, I haven't thought about it.
And now to some breaking news, some major reaction from the candidates tonight after the New York Times reported President Trump is deciding whether to get involved in the race for New York City mayor and is in communication with Andrew Cuomo. We just got comments from both Cuomo and Mamdani, and Dick Brennan is here to sort that out for us. Dick?
Well, Christine, according to the report, President Trump wants to stop the Democratic frontrunner Zoran Mamdani. The Times reports Trump is trying to figure out who has the best chance to beat him. Now, the Times reporting states Trump spoke directly to independent candidate Andrew Cuomo, but sources close to the campaign tell the Cuomo campaign, tell reporter Marcia Kramer, the two have never discussed getting involved in the race. They say that
Don't believe him for even a second. I mean, considering the fact, again, like, it makes sense why Trump wants to intervene. First off, he wants a stooge there in power who's going to let him continue doing the fucking ICE Gestapo raids and bullshit. And if it's Cuomo or Eric Adams that are in power, he more than likely isn't going to support Sliwa because he doesn't, well, first off, too many fucking Democrats. A Republican just, I don't think, is going to win in New York, probably, like, ever again. For, like, a long time, unless some crazy shit fucking happens. But then, something crazy can always fucking happen. But he's not going to support Sliwa because of that. He's going to probably support either Adams, because, again, he has that DOJ probe hanging over him. And same with Cuomo. Also has a DOJ probe hanging over him as well, right? So he's going to be able to be like, listen, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to have these probes continue in on you. And what is it? Is this the Sliwa thing where he, like, had a random Times Square incident? Rough up a man in Times Square that misidentify him as a migrant? Yep. There was, like, again, this was like caught on fucking camera and stuff too. It was like doing a fucking goddamn interview with someone, and some like random dudes just like detained some random person, like because they thought he was like a migrant or something. It's genuinely fucking insane. Oh, 1000%. Yeah, this is really fucking stupid shit here. Like it's just so fucking ridiculous, Skeptomaniac.
The president would like to see Zoran Mamdani as a candidate because he's, quote, political pay dirt, or Mayor Adams as a candidate because, quote, he owns him. Now, just remember, Trump and Cuomo frequently feuded in the past, and Trump...
This is like the exact same argument that so many like dumbasses are saying about like Zoran Mamdani, saying that he's political pay dirt, and it's just like, how exactly is he political pay dirt? I don't understand. Like, how? Just how is he pay dirt? In what way? What, you're gonna like talk about his policies? They're all like incredibly fucking popular positions and whatnot, and that's what you think is going to be pay dirt? Like, I don't understand. It makes no fucking sense to me.
Had the Justice Department investigate Cuomo. Now, in a statement just released from Mamdani, it accuses Cuomo of coordinating with the Trump campaign,
It's a good thing that this report also brought up the exact same thing. Yeah, the DOJ has investigated him before. And again, like I've been saying, Trump can just fucking reopen that stuff and do some fucking goddamn shenanigans with that. He can.
And it says this is not just a shady backroom deal by a cynical politician. It's disqualifying. It is a betrayal. We reached out to Mayor Adams' campaign. We haven't heard back. Christine.
So we're just learning these
Not
details,
gonna say
Dick,
anything.
but my first question is, this could potentially backfire as well for the president.
Well, yeah, the president's not exactly popular among Democrats in New York, but the idea perhaps he can ignite a more conservative base. But on the other hand, it could just be the...
In New York. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, sure. For like, I don't know, the 20% of New Yorkers that are fucking conservative down there. Yeah, sure, man. Totally. I highly doubt that's going to be the case, but yeah, what's our man Cuomo got to say here? What's he got to say? Can I just get the Cuomo, please?
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Last time I spoke, I don't recall the last time I spoke with him. I left a message after the attempted assassination. I don't believe I spoke with him. I believe I left a message.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo
Likely story.
not only denied speaking with President Trump about the campaign, but says he would not accept the president's endorsement. Cuomo makes the case that he could strike the right balance with President Trump if elected mayor, standing up for values.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It's correct balance. Totally, man, because Trump is looking for a fucking balance. Like, okay, so you're gonna let me have my ICE guys go in, and you're gonna let my guys come in. It's just like, well, you know, maybe I'll just have, like, only a few of them come in. Not all of them, but only a few. It's like, well, sure. And then he just lets them all in anyways, just because Trump lies about literally everything. Like I said before, the fucking goddamn... This motherfucker had the fucking DOJ investigation into him. More than likely, Trump could just fucking reopen that stuff, or just have it go again, be like, well, you know, I could just say that, you know, I could have my guys investigate you with my lawyers and whatnot in the DOJ. So fucking goofy, man.
Values like sanctuary city while working with the president where possible. But the former governor has also previously made the case that only one person in a crowded field of candidates could truly defeat Democratic nominee Zoran Mamdani head on. And President Trump might very well be influential enough to make that happen.
Would you welcome him weighing in to the extent that he clears the field for someone, and I assume you'd hope that would be you?
If I were opining on his political point of view, the obvious political point of view, I would say I'm the last person he would want.
President Trump himself...
I don't believe him, by the way. Like I said before, the DOJ investigated him for his actions during COVID. Who's to say that Trump doesn't just fucking randomly reopen that stuff, and he could just fucking do it?
also denied that he and Cuomo spoke recently.
Do you believe both those men are lying?
I believe the New York Times over President Trump and Andrew Cuomo.
Mamdani rallied Thursday outside of immigration court, critiquing Cuomo for the alleged conversation with President Trump, who only 30% of city voters supported in last year's election.
The job of mayor is not to audition to be the jester for a want-to-be king.
Mamdani himself continues to face questions about if his democratic socialist views would put a bigger target on New York's back and be politically advantageous for President Trump during the upcoming midterm elections, which is an argument that Cuomo made today.
My administration...
Which is just such a fucking nonsensical fucking argument. Like, in what like, it's the same thing that all the stupid, dumb fuck, like, Democratic establishment types and, like, Bill Maher types are making, saying, like, oh, Zohran Mamdani is pig dirt for the Republican Party. It's just like, what do you mean, dude? Like, who the hell cares if they call Zohran a communist, okay? They called Nancy Pelosi a communist, for fuck's sake. They'll call Chuck Schumer a it doesn't matter. Like, eventually, Bill, I know that you're not very bright or intelligent, but at some point, like, words lose meaning. They just don't mean anything. If you just keep saying that he's a fucking communist over and over again, you can just be like, I mean, you think that, like, AOC, Bernie, anyone in the Democratic Party is just a fucking communist because they're to the left of you. So it's just like, nah, I don't, who the hell cares about your opinion on who's a fucking communist or not? It's meaningless.
Would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. And we know that the most effective way to take on Donald Trump is not through that cowardice, is not through that collaboration, it is through courage and conviction.
On the issues
in
the race for mayor Thursday, we also saw Cuomo roll out his affordability agenda with a heavy emphasis on subsidizing both food programs and public transportation. And Mayor...
Oh yeah, dude. Some whatever dipshit, like, needle and diming around the fucking edges. The stupid austerity bullshit. I don't really think there's much else to go into here. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious to say that more than likely, if I were to take a guess, Cuomo and Trump are probably colluding to some extent. We don't have hard evidence for that, of course. I mean, we are just going off of the report based off of what the New York Times is saying. But again, if the New York Times is putting out such a report, why would they really lie about that? They are not exactly probably the biggest fans of either Cuomo or Donald Trump, to be quite honest. So I have no reasons to believe that they aren't fucking lying about that. You know, it's also not about, like, Israel-Palestine, which they lie about constantly, but, you know, different fucking meme. I have no reason to believe that they're fucking lying about that. Why would they fucking lie about that? Becomes another fucking question. It seems kind of, like, silly and ridiculous. I like the things I have discussed before. The DOJ investigated Cuomo during Donald Trump's administration because of how he was handling the crisis in the fucking nursing homes in New York specifically, which is a thing that happened. This has been widely fucking reported on. We know that this is something that has happened. With the Cuomo specifically, he himself downplaying a lot of the deaths that were happening in a lot of New York nursing homes. This is a fact. So, again, Donald Trump, similarly like what he did with Eric Adams, who's to say that he wouldn't just open up those fucking investigations and use that as a way to blackmail, quite specifically, either Cuomo or Eric Adams, and just have them as little fucking stooges in office that will just let him run roughshod on the population of New York and have them just gallivant about with, like, his, like, stupid little ICE Gestapo freaks, have them, like, run around and just, well, black bag a bunch of other people. Like, I don't think that's, like, ridiculous to sort of say. I don't think it's hyperbolic either. Like, they totally would fucking do that. I don't think they're lying about it. I'm sure some genius thought if we break this story, it won't reflect bad on Cuomo if it turns out bad, or it will get people excited if it turns out good. Maybe. I don't think that's, like, that's a potential option. I just personally think it's just, it's a fucking power play kind of a thing. Maybe, like, I don't know, like, the New York Times want to, like, spice up the stuff or something, because we know that the Cuomo and Trump has had connections in the fucking past. Like, they are well-known affluent families within New York specifically. And again, Trump has a vested reason for being invested in what happens in the New York mayoral city, because he's from there. It's home turf, right? Like, he probably is not very keen on a, well, Democratic Socialist winning the mayoralship of the of New York City, because again, like I've talked about before, New York City is the city of cities. If you think of a city, you think of New York City. Everybody around the world thinks of New York City as a city, like the city. that, you know, is like dreamed about, quote unquote, I guess for like lack of a better term. So there's probably a lot of good reason, like sort of just like even optically speaking, why like it would look really bad if a democratic socialist, I guess in the mind of like all these like freaks or whatever, that if a democratic socialist were one of the main guys running the fucking goddamn city, right? I don't think it's ridiculous to say. So yeah, I mean, do I think it happened? Well, we have to wait and see if the evidence to come out, again, based off of the reporting. Why would the New York Times lie about this? Who really knows? They're gonna both deny it, obviously, because like it would make them both look really, really bad if Cuomo were to fucking collude with Donald Trump. But like Donald Trump supporting billionaires are already supporting Andrew Cuomo's campaign, so it's not ridiculous and hyperbolic to say that there is potentially some form of avenue of collusion there. But yeah, has it happened? We don't have evidence for it. Is it likely to have happened? I think it's quite fucking likely, but we don't have the evidence for it. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that.